Here I have a CZ75B in high polished stainless. The gun is unloaded and it's going to remain unloaded for the whole video. No kitty cat. This is a B model, although the firing pin block has been removed. It has a CZ Custom competition hammer and 2 reduced weight springs in it. And it's a nice shooter. I love this gun. The double action comes in at about 7¼ to 7½ pounds. It is completely smooth. As good of a double action as you'd ever want. It's long enough. No problem. Then the single action is coming in at 3 pounds consistently. And this is what this looks like. A lot of take up. And then you hit a wall, and then there's a little bit more movement until it shoots. Then it shoots. Not much over travel. And then the reset really kicks your finger when it goes right there. And then you're coming back. If you're shooting this rapidly, you can go pretty quick. Well, this is, besides those modifications, this is how the trigger is. But I have ordered a part from CZ Custom. This is a CZ75 disconnector, what they call a short disconnect, or short reset. And this is a stock part off of a CZ75 before the B model. And it's not supposed to change the trigger weight, and I'm going to test that after I install it to confirm. But what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to reduce the take-up. Now, I don't know if when you shoot, the reset, I don't know if the reset's going to be different than that. That's not too bad. So that's what I'm really interested to see. This part was not cheap, so let's hope it's worth it. Gun's still unloaded. I just got finished installing the short reset disconnector. Took me about 45 minutes now. I've taken this gun apart a few times, so I'm kind of familiar with it, but I haven't done it in the past couple of years, so kind of had to remind myself how it worked. And here it is. I tested the trigger pull scales, and I don't know, I'm getting the double action is a little bit less, which is surprising. I didn't expect that. Double action is coming in about a ¼ pound less on average. Single action's not much different, just the tiniest bit lower every once in a while, but it's still roughly around 3 pounds. Okay, so what do we have? Double action still feels the same to me. Still smooth. Still smooth. Love the double action. Then the single action, before the trigger was around here, around the midpoint, and you'd have to take up a lot of slack. Now there's very little slack to take up. Maybe about 1 or 2 millimeters. And there's still creep once you reach the wall and you keep pushing. Trigger still moves a bit, and then it shoots. Not much over travel, but there is a little. Then the reset. It's not the shortest reset, but it's a lot better than it was. And what I've noticed on this reset, it doesn't push my finger out as much. It really doesn't feel like it's pushing it out much at all. Just the tiniest bit. Before, it was more violent. You'd really get your finger pushed out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's awesome. Just the tiniest bit of take up, and there you go. Before I did this modification, the single action was light enough that the take-up, the force it required to do the take-up wasn't that much less than the actual trigger firing. And so sometimes it would be a little bit hard to find out where the wall was before the shot actually broke. With this, there's so little. Once you pretty much just put your finger on the trigger right there, you reach the wall, and then it's about the same amount of force required to let off the trigger. It was not cheap. With shipping, it came to around $63 for me, but if you like your CZ75 and you want to slick it up, boy, this did it. It's a total ripoff, but there's no other way to do it I know of. So, for me, it was worth it. This is the old Disconnector, and I thought the only difference was going to be this tiny little turn down on the Disconnector. But in fact, this Pre B Disconnector is much thicker, and it doesn't have this little turn down, so the geometry is different. By the way, this specific Disconnector is designed for those without a firing pin block. Now, this one had it originally, but I removed it, and works fine for me. I don't notice any difference. But if your gun still has the firing pin block, they say this specific Disconnector is not, there's not enough travel to actuate the firing pin block, and so they sell a specific one for the firing pin block models, and it's not as short as this one. The reset's not going to be as short, so there's going to be more travel, and it's simply to do with being able to actuate that firing pin block. It has to move further out to push up the block. But for me, I didn't need it, and yeah, that's about as good as I can hope for. It's a sweet little shooter. Now I have to go to the range and actually try it. Hopefully it works. I think it is going to. You know, this is getting to be a pretty nice little target gun. Well, I don't know if that was helpful, but maybe it helps some of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them, and I'll do my absolute best to get back to you. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.